All right, let's talk about something that's hiding inside pretty much every single piece of electronics you own. It's called the semiconductor diode. Now, it might look incredibly simple, but trust me, its job is absolutely essential to how our digital world works.
You know, the easiest way to get your head around a diode is to just picture a one-way street. That's it. Cars can only go in one direction, period. A diode does the exact same thing, but it does it for electricity. It's a super simple idea, but it's the key to everything we're about to cover. See, in any circuit, it's not enough to just have electricity flowing. You need to control it. You need to tell it where to go, and maybe even more importantly, where it's not allowed to go. And that is exactly what the diode was built for. It's basically the circuit's traffic cop. So, we're going to look at the diode in three basic situations. First, what it's doing when it's just sitting there, which we call no bias. Then, how we get the current to actually flow, that's forward bias. And finally, how we block that current, which is called reverse bias. It's kind of like a traffic light. One state is off, one is green, and one is red. Okay, so let's jump right into that first state. What is a diode doing when there's no power hooked up to it at all? This is its natural default condition, just kind of hanging out. In this no bias state, everything's at zero. No outside voltage means no current is flowing. Simple enough, right? Now, internally, a diode has two different types of materials squished together, a p-type and an n-type. And right where they meet, they form this natural little barrier called the depletion region. For now, just think of it as a closed gate that has no power. All right, now for the fun part. Let's connect a battery. We're about to see how we can give the electricity the green light to go flowing right through that gate. This is where the diode really comes to life. So this green light condition has a name. It's called forward bias. And all bias really means is that we're applying voltage in a very specific way. To get forward bias, we connect the positive end of our battery to the p-type side of the diode and the negative end to the n-type side. This positive to negative connection is absolutely key. So what happens inside when we do that? Well, that forward voltage acts like a big push. It shoves the things that carry charge, electrons on one side and these things called holes on the other, it shoves them right toward that barrier in the middle. As they get pushed together, that barrier, the depletion region, gets narrower and narrower, and if we push hard enough, they have enough energy to jump across, and boom, current starts to flow. And what's really interesting is that the amount of push you need depends on what the diode is made of. Take a look here. A germanium diode, for example, only needs about 0.3 volts to open that gate. Silicon, which is by far the most common type you'll ever find, needs a little more of a nudge, about 0.7 volts. And then you have other materials like gallium arsenide that need an even bigger push, all the way up at 1.2 volts. So what is all this traffic flowing through our diode? Well, the main players, the ones doing most of the work, are what we call majority carriers. In that n-type material, the traffic is a flow of electrons. In the p-type material, it's a flow of those holes we mentioned. These are the cars driving down our one-way street. But you might be wondering, is there any traffic going the wrong way? Well, yeah, but just a tiny, tiny bit. These are called minority carriers. Seriously, think of it like one or two cars trying to drive the wrong way down a massive highway. In this forward bias state, there are so few of them that they really have no effect on anything. Okay, we've seen the green light. Now let's see what happens when we flip the battery around. What if we try to force all that traffic down our one-way street in the completely wrong direction? This is the red light state. We call this reverse bias. And this time, we intentionally hook the battery up backwards. We connect the positive terminal to the n-type material and the negative terminal to the p-type material. We're going positive to negative and negative to positive, just to see what happens. So, instead of pushing all the carriers together, this reverse voltage pulls them apart. The electrons get pulled away from the center barrier toward the positive end of the battery. The holes get pulled in the other direction, toward the negative end. And this action makes that depletion region wider and wider, turning that small gate into a giant wall that almost no current can get across. And this slide, right here, just puts it all together perfectly. When you see it side by side, it's so clear. Forward bias on the left, the barrier shrinks and current flows. Reverse bias on the right, the barrier widens and current is blocked. Allow or block, on or off. That's the whole magic trick of the diode, all in one picture. So we've seen how it works, but the big question is, why does this even matter? Why is this simple little one-way street for electricity one of the most powerful concepts in all of technology? It's because this one simple function is a fundamental building block for everything else. You know the charger for your phone that turns AC power from the wall into DC power? That's all thanks to diodes. Want to protect a sensitive circuit from someone plugging in a battery backwards? You use a diode. This one-way gate is the starting point for building logic gates, memory, and processors, basically the entire modern world.
And that really just leaves us with one powerful idea to think about. Once you have that amazing ability to dictate the path of electricity, to create that perfect one-way street for current, what can't you build? The possibilities, as we've all seen, are pretty much infinite.